For 20 years, Ziad al-Ajili has had the grim task of counting the number of Iraqi journalists who've been killed for doing their job. He runs the Journalistic Freedom Observatory out of this small office in central Baghdad, sending out regular, detailed reports of every killing and kidnapping. He says rarely has he ever been able to include details of an arrest or conviction in his reports, and that the rise of ISIL has made the dangers facing journalists dramatically worse.
Working in Iraq, the constant threat is ISIL. It is the biggest danger Iraqi journalists encounter. ISIL has carried out massacres against many journalists in cities they control like Mosul.
The faces of 35 Iraqi journalists who were killed in 2007 alone are shown in this poster. The following year, the US-based media advocacy group, the Committee to Protect Journalists, released what it calls its Impunity Index report. The research looks at the unsolved murders of journalists in countries where attacks often go unpunished. Up until this year, Iraq has consistently been at the top of that list, but moving down to second place is far from encouraging for press freedom in Iraq.
Since the 2003 US-led invasion, close to 170 Iraqi journalists have been killed in targeted killings, with only one of those ever resulting in a conviction, which is why press freedom groups say anyone who kills a journalist is getting away with murder.
At a time when Iraqi journalists are facing increasing threats, Iraq's media industry is booming. Before the US-led invasion in 2003, media was strictly controlled by the state. Now there are around 30 newspapers, 35 TV channels, and 80 radio stations. But Iraqi press freedom groups warn powerful Shia militias backed by Iran are gaining increasing influence over major media networks, posing a serious threat to journalists.
These militias operate under an official cover, and therefore they can target any journalist who opposes them, and they can get away with it because these armed groups are protected from the government.
Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi's government denies such claims, saying it stands for press freedom. But for journalists trying to do their job in Iraq, it's yet another serious concern. Imtiaz Tyab, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.